What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today, BTC USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And yes, I did shave my head absolutely down to the core here. I look like a damn cue ball, don't I? There's a little bit of skin color disparity. I've never shaved my head before, man. So the head, this part's a little white. I was thinking about wearing a hat, but I gotta embrace it, man. Whatever, who cares? Let's get into the analysis. Let's not talk about me. Let's talk about you, Bitcoin. That's why we're here, anyways. We've had quite the dump, you guys. We dropped all the way down to $111.8 thousand. It's time to call this bull market wraps and get ready for the bear. No, it's not. It's not the bear market, you guys. This kind of thing, this little flash crash is what we're going to call it, is very common before moving higher. Okay, very, very common. I very much doubt that this persists. I do not believe that we go lower. And of course, we had a crash. I was not expecting it. In fact, before we go any further in this video, I want to be very clear. I was comparing what we were doing here with what we did back here, and I thought we'd get the same results. We still prepared for a dump either way, right? Because it's good to be prepared for both sides, both dynamics. But the area that I expected that we'd bounce from would be here at the least, and maybe here on the closing basis at the most. We went a little bit lower than that, but that's okay. We went as low as 111.8K, which is a pretty wicked crash. But as long as we're closing, I think, in this area or higher, I think we're okay. It's really not a big deal at all. I'm not concerned with this. In fact, I'm looking at this sea of red over here, and I'm like, dude, I'm gonna buy some stuff on the cheap. Look at these things on the cheap here, you guys. Crazy. Turbo's down 10%, crazy. Very, very massive discounts. What about the big dogs? Who's down the most? Fartcoin. Bio's down a lot. XRP's not down too much. And you know, I was bearish. I think these XRP and Dogecoin ETFs, you have two of the top 10 cryptos getting ETFs. That should have been a telltale sign that we are about to get a little bit of a drop. That should have been it, but I thought about that, but I was like, maybe it'll just be those two. Maybe it won't affect Bitcoin, but it's like that little alarm was going off in the back of my head, but I didn't do anything about it. Anyways, over the past day, there have been $3 billion in shorts piled on. We do have $1.4 billion in longs. Longs are decimated. Shorts are vibrant. $12 billion in shorts, not even close in longs. We look at the last 30 days. Remember now, the last 30 days, the longs have outweighed the shorts by a pretty tremendous amount. Let's see. And now the shorts are back. Oh, no, the longs are back up. Okay. The longs still do outweigh the shorts. Now, we don't have to clear out all these longs before moving higher. We absolutely could move higher from here, but it wouldn't surprise me if we did move down a little bit lower even. It's very, very possible that what we have here is the low, but it's very possible that we could go lower too. Again, I think as long as we're closing the days here or higher, that it's fine. If we start closing multiple days below really like $112,000, that's when I would be concerned. Multiple days. If we close one day below and then the next day comes back up and closes here or higher, I guess we're okay. It would be weird, but wouldn't be detrimental. But you just don't want to close below there, right? Anyways, 12 hours, 44 minutes left in this day here. If we're looking at this from an overall high to an overall low, you've hit the golden ratio and you've gone through the 382, which, if we're being fair, it's not a common thing to do. Typically, you don't do that. Typically, in this situation, if you are going below the 382, you'd expect to find support at the 236. So that's what I mean by going a little lower. $111,000 might be the area that we go for. We could hold support here, but again, what we're doing here is not really that typical. Typically, you would hold support in this area, and then you move higher. The fact that you're below the 382 right now, if we close here or lower, would indicate that we might go lower than this, and it could even be indicative that we go lower than this low here. Hitting the golden ratio and having this kind of reaction, in all fairness, is not ideal. And at the worst, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, at the worst, what's going to happen if we do continue to go down, if we don't find support soon and move up, like I think we will, but if we do continue to move down even below this low, at the worst, we're going to get rid of our end of September rally. It'll turn into an end of September, beginning of October dump, and we very well could form either a double bottom or inevitably go to those targets we were once talking about back here, which are at about 106 to $103,000, something like that. It's very possible. I'm not convinced that we're going down there, but these targets came back on the table the second we broke through the 382 there. Okay, that's essentially what happened. It's okay to go a little bit below, but you went a pretty far bit below it. So it's not that this is the likelihood. It's not that that's the statistical probability. It's just more probable today now than it was over here, so to such a degree that it's worth talking about again, at least worth considering, right? And if we go down there, everything to the upside is still happening. Everything that we've called for is still happening. It's just happening a week or two later. You know, that's all it is. Get over the bald head, you guys. Looking at it here on the 1 hour time frame here. A lot of volume came in. We're on the index though. Is that reliable volume? Let's look at Coinbase or Binance. Yes, that is reliable. That's a lot of volume right there on this kind of final candle here. Not a lot of volume as you're persisting, so we might see a little bit of a recovery here. We might move up to about... Sorry, I thought I heard something. I thought I heard a door open. Might move up to about 114.5K to 115K, very possible, and then move down. If we're looking at the RSI here, you do have lower lows in the RSI, lower lows in the price. Overall, very bearish, but the look here could, with this trend, promote some upside for the moment. You know, maybe we do see something that takes us to like $114,000, $115,000, something in that area. What do we do here? That might determine if we go lower or if we actually do move up higher. You know, I think by the end of the day, we're going to know one of two things. Either one, we're moving lower, or two, that was it. That was the shakeout. That was the, what's the word I'm looking for? Flash crash, and now we're moving higher. I'm hoping that we move higher rather immediately. I'm hoping that what we do see is that we get an end of month rally, but my faith is starting to waver in that, being down at these areas. But it's fresh. You know, it's very fresh. Let's see how it develops. Stochastics here are crossing up, getting out of the oversold zone, looking like you want to continue to rally. MACD looks pretty bearish, but it's the 1 hour, so it doesn't really matter as much. 4 hour time frame here. We are in the oversold area, and it would look, in my opinion, like we would come up, but then probably return back down here, get some bullish divergence or something like that. Again, the only way that we would nullify this kind of look and promote a more bullish look, something that persists to the upside, would be if we really just eat this up over the coming hours here, over the next, probably over the next 8 hours. It has to happen rather immediately. The longer we hang out down here, the more likely we are going to go lower. And what I mean by hanging out down here is, like, if we can't get above 115K by the end of this day, if we can't get above at least 114.5K, if we can't get above $114,500 or higher by the end of the day and stay there today and tomorrow, if we can't do that, then we're likely going lower. That would be my expectation. MACD crossing below the zero, stochastics are bearish, RSI looks bearish. So for the time being, I think it is safe to assume that we go lower, but let's just see what we do. Because again, a lot of times, these moves are just flash crashes that happen, and as soon as they happen, they're over. And then maybe you grow out just as fast, maybe you grow out slower, but you still grow out consistently. Time will tell. We'll see how it goes. It is the beginning of the week. It is a brand new week today. It is Monday, right? If we're looking at this here. And starting out the week this bearish, I think, is actually a good thing. It gives us a lot of time to reverse the week. Let's look at the weekly time frame here, actually. Before we get to the weekly, let's get to the daily. Hold that thought, okay? The daily RSI is bullish overall. I don't like that we found resistance here. We kind of did something different. I think we should have gone higher. Here, we should have gone lower, so we're definitely being tricky in the RSI. Stochastics are reliable, though, getting out of the overbought zone, signaling that we want to go lower. We're definitely getting toward an area to bounce, but it might suggest we have lower prices to go. The MACD is about to cross, but it's still green. Still green. If we're looking at the weekly time frame, the thought here is that last week closed with a pretty bearish candle at the top there. 6 days, 13 minutes left, or 6 days, 13 hours left in this week here. If by the end of this week we can come back up and answer with a doji candle of our own to the upside here, that would be very positive. That would say that this bearish signal is contested, that there's some indecision going on here, and that we're going to move up. There was a post, I forget from who, but somebody was saying there's some big Bitcoin crypto news coming out on Tuesday, and I made a post about it on X.com. Actually, let's see if we can find it. Feel like doing something impulsive. Well, now you guys know. Um, where is it? Why isn't it posted? No, I posted something. I don't know why it hasn't posted. Anyways, this guy was saying that there's some big news coming out on Tuesday, and I reposted it and quoted it and said, anytime news like this comes out, it always is very insignificant. So I doubt there's anything coming out on Tuesday that's going to save the day. It's possible, but anyways, that might have not made a whole lot of sense because it's not there. Let me refresh it. Let me see if it's just being weird. Let's see. Nope, that's weird. Didn't I make the post? Didn't I? I swear I made the post. That's weird. I did not make that. That's so weird. It says posted. No, I don't know what happened. So X glitched out on me. That's okay. Um, I'll post it later. But, anyways, I doubt that any big news is coming to save the day. The only thing that would save the day at the end of the day, you guys, is the fact that this could be a shakeout. And if it is a shakeout, we should eat this back. Flash crash. We should eat this back rather immediately. By the end of this week, we should close at like 115,000 or higher. If we don't get to those levels within the next day or two, consistently closing above there, then I fear this could be something more serious. We could go down to, again, to form a lower low, or at the very least a double bottom look, something like that. Clear out more of these longs, and then we can move up higher. I don't have anything else that I want to say. I'm very much still expecting that we see dramatically higher prices. It's just a matter just a matter of time. Hit the like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. All right, bye bye.